Hi there, welcome to Prehistoric Kingdom Building Blocks. I'm Dino Bob, and today we're going to be planting plants. Okay, hi, we're going to do some looking at landscaping with plants this time. As you can see in the landscaping menu for foliage, you've got a select and a deselect all button and a tree removal button. You don't need to remove them if you don't want to change the landscape, but you're probably going to. So we're going to start with that since we already start with a lot of landscape. Now this is big time removal, full clean removal. You see the red circle, click it, they all go away. If we lower the density down and click the trees, only some of them will go away. And if we make it much lower, only a few of them will go away. So you can spread that out. What you don't do, however, is get to choose which ones go away unless you get very specific. And you can do that by taking it down as far as it'll go, which is 1 meter. Making sure you got a hard edge with your tool by taking it up to 100%. And then getting over the plant and saying go away. I want that one to go away because it looks exactly like the one next to it. That one to go away. I want, oops, didn't pick the, there it goes. Pick the tree by getting it near the base. The big ones can be fussy sometimes. But anyway, it's not that hard to use. Laying trees down, you can do it the glut way, which is very fast, and I'll take it up to about 50%, and the size, and 100% still at the density, which is as dense as it's going to put plants. And we're going to select all. How come they're not coming up selected? Well, anyway, they're not showing, but I hit it. And you'll notice that it tends to throw them off center. Right? If without moving it, I hit it again, it's going to play with the same off center. So we're getting a lot of density of trees on one side and not so much on the other. But if we slide it over, we can fill that in. So, you know, that's really fast. It looks pretty decent, and it's a good way to fill an enclosure quickly. However, you don't have a ton of control. What if you really don't want that much canopy cover? Well, you can make a selection for all the understructure plants and use that. It's a little bit better at the understructure, throwing things around. But you'll notice it's taking me many clicks to completely fill this space. And fill it you can. So we've actually got some plants laying on top of other plants here. If that's the effect you want, go for it. Without extreme density, doesn't always look too great. So I'm going to deselect all. In nature, you'll find that plants often tend to, particularly smaller ones, they come in clutches. Like for example, banana trees. I'm going to take the size down a little bit here. Banana trees, you get a lot of banana trees together, right? And maybe one other kind of growth in the same area. So this is the scaevola bush. And other plants would tend to be much rarer in a typical environment. You'd only have a couple of them, right? So we're going to pick a couple of, where'd you go? There we go. That's another banana plant. We didn't want that. So I see what I've been doing. Deselect all. We just want one. And this is the sapling. So you get a more natural effect when there is a couple of dominant types in an area, and then a smaller scattering of other plants. You can also get a more controlled effect for your enclosures by taking the size of your brush down, density up or down depending on what you want. And now I picked the scaevola, and now I run the brush and I get an irregular line of this plant, right? Rather than letting it stay in one place and make a scatter of them. Back to the scaevola, right? If I let it stay in one place, it's going to get very dense. I can use that to my advantage if I want to connect these two bits of brush and let it do it. But again, you're not going to get to do exactly your choice. The nice thing about this foliage is that if the terrain changes, it will move along with it. Right? This game has two different ways of making foliage. One of them is this landscaping approach where you paint it on, and the other is modular pieces. If we go to the modular menu, we will find three different foliage menus. One is trees, one is shrubbery, and one is called gardening, but it still has some useful plants in there. Very useful plants. Now these are modular. They will tend to run into each other and displace upwards. You can counter that by just doing the least little bit while holding shift, of pulling it up and down, and then it will stay at that level and they won't want to go up and down. So you can place them quite densely. You can also use Z and X when you're placing one. When you're placing one, that's Z, and X is clockwise. So you change the rotation. By changing the rotation, you make it look less like a clone of the plants right next to it. So we'll place that down, and we also can use the scaling tool. I'll do another one about a lot of the details of the tool, but for this purpose you want to find the block at the bottom, and you can make your plant bigger and smaller to add more variety to your presentation. Alright, so that's a modular plant. I can move that. One arrow, and we can slide it all around. If we use the rotational tool, we can spin it. If it's on a slope, we can tilt it to look more natural. So very flexible, the modular pieces. They go exactly where you want, and I recommend using a combination of both. You put in your main foliage, and then when you want to make it more picturesque and or have a specific effect, a tree in a particular place, go with a modular for that plant, and you will get a more harmonious structure. So I've been blathering on for a while now about plants, and if plants are not your thing, that's okay. Use the brush all the time. You can probably make yourself a happy park. If you're a stickler for exactly what it looks like, go for the combination for the most efficient way, or you can go full modular and place all your plants one at a time. But while everything will be exactly where you want it, your finger's going to get a little tired from punching that mouse. Anyway, so this is Prehistoric Kingdom's alpha version of things. There'll be more plants in the future. We have at least 4 more biomes to be seen, and more plants, I believe, in every every biome that we have. And also in the more distant future, the VIPs who supported the game and the money throwers who got to the plant tier level will be allowed to select a plant to be in game, and those will be available to all players once they go in. So thanks for stopping by. This is Dino Bob. Be well, be kind. See you in another video.